In the end, victory wasn't about saving humanity, it was about defining it. And I was the only one left to write the final definition. The air on Xylos was a toxic red haze of perpetual twilight that choked the very breath from existence. It smelled of sulfur and ozone, and the metallic tang of dried blood. Sergeant Eva Rostova, the last active member of the human expeditionary force, coughed a dry, rasping sound, muffled by the broken filtration unit in her power armor. Her voice generation unit was barely functional. A crackle of static accompanied every forced breath. The war with the Cthar swarm had officially ended 3 standard cycles ago, a galactic decree of oblivion for humanity. The complete destruction of a human fleet confirmed their victory. The Cthar, a calculating insectoid hive mind, assumed the battle was over. They had meticulously cleaned up the large wrecks scattered across the conquered worlds. They had collected their trophies, the broken symbols of human pride, and moved on there. Cold logic dictated that no further resistance was possible. Only patrol drones remained to monitor the conquered planet, a final insult, a testament to their absolute dominion. But they had made a mistake, a monumental miscalculation born of their own sterile efficiency. They forgot that humans do not follow the logical conclusion. Humans are chaos, humans are defiance, humans are the stubborn refusal to acknowledge the end. Eva was not fighting to win a glorious victory or reclaim lost ground. Those concepts were luxuries long forgotten. She was fighting to transmit a single data packet, a whisper across the void. Her objective was the last functional uplink spire on the planet, a skeletal relic half buried beneath the mangled wreckage of the old command center, a ghostly monument to a forgotten war. This spire held the Ghost Protocol, the sum total of human intelligence painstakingly gathered on the intricate Cthar hive structure, a digital weapon designed to unravel their perfect command hierarchy, a virus for their collective mind. Cthar Drone 774 Alpha, a segment of the hive's peripheral consciousness, scanned the area, its optical sensors gleaming with cold light. Logically, the remaining human life sign, detected by its long-range scanners, should have retreated to the dead zones, the irradiated wastelands where survival was impossible or perhaps self-terminated. As per standard defeat protocols, its persistent, meaningless aggression was inefficient, illogical. It was human, a confounding variable in the Cthar-esque grand equation, a glitch in their perfect calculus. Eva tightened her grip on her plasma rifle, the polymer grip worn smooth against her gauntlet hand. Her left leg armor was fused, a permanent injury from a previous encounter, forcing a shuffling, uneven gait. But her eyes, magnified and sharpened behind the cracked visor, were still sharp, still burning with an unyielding fire. She saw the patrol coming, 3 medium-sized drones moving with the eerie silence of metallic spiders there. Multi-jointed legs scuttling across the craggy terrain, their optical sensors sweeping the desolation. She didn't wait. Waiting was for the living, for those with a future. She burst from the illusory cover of a collapsed bulkhead, a sudden eruption of motion faster than the Cthar's predictive algorithms could process. They always think we fight the same way. She thought, the thought a bitter taste in her mouth. Heavy armor, slow, relentless advance, predictable. She was anything but predictable. She was the last, and desperation breeds invention. It carves new paths. It sharpens the dullest blades. She fired a quick, precise burst into the rocky terrain next to the lead drone. The plasma bolt exploded, sending superheated rock shrapnel into the drone's exposed sensory array. A blinding flash of orange light. It reeled, its internal systems screaming in protest, while the other 2 paused, a flicker of hesitation in their cold programming to calculate the new, unexpected threat. Eva closed the distance, her movements a blur of purpose, emptying her rifle clip into the second drone's primary joint. A shower of sparks and synthetic blood, a satisfying crunch of collapsing metal. The last drone, a larger, more formidable unit, engaged her in close combat, its metallic claws tearing at her already damaged suit. The reinforced plasteel shrieked under the assault, a sharp, searing pain shot through her side, a fresh wound, adding to the symphony of aches that was her constant companion. Eva ignored at pain, was an old friend, a reminder of her continued existence, with a primal roar that strained her suit's vocalizer a sound more animal than machine. She jammed the rifle's barrel deep into the drone's head carapace, a point-blank execution, and fired. The last round detonated internally, blowing the drone's head apart. Silence returned to Xylos, a brief reprieve from the cacophony of war, a ringing in Eva's ears, the only sound. She limped towards the spire, her destination, her final purpose. It was flickering, a dying beacon in the red haze. The transmission window was narrow, only 60 seconds to send the Ghost protocol across the light years of empty space. She slammed the data drive into the console, slapped the worn plastic clicking into place, and initiated the upload, a cascade of data flowing from her hand to the dying heart of the spire. Countdown 058. A new massive energy signature appeared on her radar, a dark storm brewing on the horizon. The Cathar had deployed an overseer unit, a heavily armored command vehicle, a colossal beast of metal and vengeance. It was not supposed to be here. Their intelligence had failed them again. They had not anticipated her persistence, her sheer refusal to die. They finally noticed. Eva muttered the words, a dry chuckle escaping her lips, forcing a grim smile across her dust-caked face. They sent their biggest gun. The overseer arrived, a monstrous silhouette against the red sky, its searchlights piercing the gloom like predatory eyes. It paused 50 meters away, its synthetic voice booming through the valley, an insult translated directly into her helmet's internal comms, a cold, calculated message of disdain. Surrender, soft one, your existence is an irrationality. Cease fighting. Countdown 030. Eva checked her equipment. One plasma grenade left, a final desperate measure, not enough to pierce the overseer's formidable shielding, but enough to create a distraction, a momentary flicker in its cold efficiency. She pulled the pin, the metallic clink, a defiant punctuation mark in the silence. I am Sergeant Eva Rostova of the Human Expeditionary Force. She transmitted back, her voice clear and defiant, her resolve unyielding. And the only irrationality here is your belief that you can take everything from us. Countdown 010. Eva charged, a broken warrior, launching herself into the maw of the beast, screaming through the red haze towards the colossal machine, a final desperate act of defiance. The overseer's massive cannons swiveled, their targeting systems locked on, but it was momentarily confused by the sudden, reckless frontal assault. Its logical programming struggled to comprehend such an illogical move. Countdown 005. As she reached the machine's towering treads, she placed the grenade precisely where the armor met the joint housing, a tiny vulnerable seam in its otherwise impenetrable hide, a moment of pure calculated desperation. Countdown 001. Far above the poisoned atmosphere of Xylos and the silent void of space, a small green light blinked on the monitor of a hidden human patrol vessel, a tiny glimmer of hope in the vast darkness. A message received. Upload complete. Ghost protocol received. At the exact same instant, the grenade detonated, a deafening roar that shook the very ground beneath her, taking out the overseer's treads and disabling its primary weapon systems. In a blinding flash of white light, a final fiery farewell. The silence returned to Xylos. 7 deeper, more profound than before. The Cathar won the planet, but they had lost the war, a silent defeat, before they even knew it had truly begun, their perfect logic undone by a single irrational human. The last soldier of humanity had completed her mission. Her final duty fulfilled a silent monument to a species that refused to break.